Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another movie spoiler review, and I'll be covering the animated movie Hellboy Blood of Iron. Blood of Iron or Blood and Iron? Yeah, Blood and Iron. But great name though. Of course, this is based off of the Hellboy comic from Dark Horse, created by Mike Mignola. Mignola? Yeah. And of course, it's a great. I watched this. It was the first time I watched it. It was first airing directly to Toonami. And it was back to back to another Hellboy anime film that I'll be covering right after this, Sword of the Storms. Yeah, Sword of Storms. And of course, reprising his role, Ron Perlman as Hellboy. I don't care anybody who says he's the only person to actually play Hellboy effectively. Doug Jones as Abe Sapien, Selma Blair as Liz Sherman, John Hurt as Dr. Broom or Trevor Rutenholm, Cree Summer as Hecate, Jim Cummings as Tom Manning, Rob Paulson as Sidney Leach, and Anna's fiance. So, yeah, and the animation is phenomenal here. I really want to bring this up because as of right now, I'm pretty sure it's out right now, the Hellboy video game, Web of Weird, or Worm or something like that. And like when it was first announced, like either early this year or late last year, I'm pretty sure it was late last year during the Game Awards, and a lot of people was hyped. I was like, oh shoot, a Hellboy game, that's dope. But when the gameplay first aired, like the first taste of the gameplay, I'm like, it looks good. It looks really good, like straight off the page comic good, because the creator of the comic was behind all that stuff and behind these animated films. So that's why it look as good as they do. I think that's a must. But the gameplay, I don't know. It seems like, I don't know, you expect something at least close to either at the most Devil May Cry, at the very least Hades. But I'm not getting any of that stuff. It doesn't look like you're utilizing his specialized gun like you will like, because he has unique, ammos dealing with certain supernatural creatures. The voice actor is a great voice actor. I'm not even going to knock it, but is the same voice actor as Spawn. But I don't know. It's just you couldn't. I mean, it's not like he shouldn't be, any more expensive as Ron Perlman, but you couldn't get Ron Perlman to come and voice Hellboy for this game, because that's what you automatically attach. Because he is Hellboy. It's like, it's like with Hugh Jackman Wolverine. He is forever will be known as the Hellboy. As a matter of fact, fun fact, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, the late Kazuki Takahashi, was a huge fan of Hellboy, even to the point of having, I'm pretty sure he had the creator of Hellboy make, was it him or Mike? One of them did like a art renditioning of a combination of Yugi and Hellboy. It looks really dope. I really wish I had that as like a poster. But I just thought I'd put that out there. the game might be good to some, but it's like so far as from what I'm seeing from the gameplay, it's like, oh god, it doesn't look as dope as like I expected to do. And from what I'm gathering from people who actually played it, they don't hate it, but it's not something that you can write home about, you know? Anyway, so Blood and Iron. Now, you get very Nolan-y with certain flashbacks. There's like a unique thing because I'm not sure how many times it's been used in film before, but there's a reverse flashback of the past in 1939, at least a year or two before Broom first encounters Hellboy. Because in case you don't know Hellboy's origin, he is supposed to be like he got a stone hand where it's supposed to unlock a gate to this creature that will cause hell on earth kind of situation. But as a small child, some Nazi group, headed by these other supernatural, occultists, tries to bring this supposed like creature that's supposed to unlock this thing, not realizing it's a small child, at least at the time, because Hellboy ages very slowly compared to anybody else. They unlock this portal to hell. Broom and other soldiers stop it, but the Hellboy got out. And of course, Broom encounters the small child, befriends it, becomes like a surrogate father, and Hellboy then was trained and was raised to fight on the side of humanity and good against the forces of evil. So before all that, Broom, a young Dr. Broom, was called on to investigate a series of murders happening in Eastern Europe. I was about this, one of my biggest complaints is like he didn't bring over a team with him as like, backup to deal with this, because he knew it was going to be like a vampire. But it was this infamous person named Ezebek Ondrushko, based off the Hungarian noblewoman named Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who has been known to bathe in the blood of innocent women that she killed. She was an infamous serial killer back in the day, and since then, she, thanks to Bram Stoker, has been fictionalized or immortalized, if you will, to be this kind of infamous vampiress. Anyway, he eventually, but Broom's like, he's like, hey, don't worry, again, I'll with a local priest and a few of the local police around there, I should have sufficient enough to deal with this vampire. It's like, dude, get you enough backup as possible. Like, it's so underestimating what you'll probably be dealing with. It's like, this is better to have it and not need it than need to not have it kind of situation. So he ends up going there. Of course, this tale's being told like through 3 or 4 parts throughout this film, but he goes there, he meets with the local priest, this young dude who who upon supposedly helping, given the fact that it's not because vampires had an aversion to the cross, it's not the cross that weakens them, it's the person's face that's wielding said cross that gives it its power, as Broom aptly points out. So he gets the help of the local priest, who has skepticism about what's been going on and the supernatural, and he gets the local law enforcement, at least three guys, one of which has his uh fiance who was kidnapped by Elizabeth. They end up going to her mansion, and they end up getting picked off. The priest ended up running away like a coward because it's like, oh, this crap is real. This is getting dangerous. He just flips out and runs. And it's all down to the professor against this creature. And upon tangling with her, she inadvertently tackles him outside a window, not realizing it was a window because it was covered in a sheet, like a big tapestry. And dawn was already breaking. She gets toasted. The ash just, somehow swirls and flies back into the mansion and enters this Iron Maiden. But that was the last for a while we've seen of Elizabeth. So now fast forward to the present, where after dealing with a previous assignment, they get called away to do a supposed to be a publicity stunt, because the person, that mansion now is repurposed into some kind of like, in a way like a haunted house kind of Airbnb type of thing, marketing off of the these killings, and really like turning like a house of horrors for amusement. And they doing this because the guy who repurposed it is friends with the senator that has who funds the BPRD, which Hellboy and the others are a part of. So on the assistance of Broom, who doesn't really give any details, which is kind of idiotic. Why would you not inform your team, who you worked alongside of and trained, most of them, into dealing with supernatural threats? Why won't you tell them, like, yeah, back in the day, I've been to this place before. I had to deal with this crazy powerful vampirist. So we need to be stocked up. It's kind of like watching a zombie movie, and you have that one person don't tell nobody that's bitten until it's too late. It's like, it's idiotic. You need your team properly informed. And of course, Hellboy along the way, as you'll see in the live action movies, is that he's he looks at the professor as like a father. It's like very overprotective, and it's like, and he hasn't been on the field in a few years, and now people are worried about him. So then you have this guy along who's supposed to be some kind of human metal detector. Like, yeah, sure. It turns out to be useful, but like really, he's not like freaking Magneto. Like, I don't know why you freaking need this guy. But I don't know. He wasn't annoying. It's not like he's like those chatty Deadpool-like qualities or anything like that. He talks when he needs to talk. He's just like the newbie of the crew. And I love the way Ron Perlman plays his character, where like he's meeting the crew, and it's like, call me Abe, call me Liz, and Bill was like, call me when you really need me. And it's like, God, I love this. The way that this delivered sells it. This is hard. I'd be hard pressed to find any other actor who can deliver the way Ron Perlman can deliver this. But he's still like, these two end up having like a moment when, like, he backs up Hellboy in a particular scene, So I like it. He's not completely useless. He's like the tech guy as well. So anyway, they end up going to this mansion. They discover as soon as the sun goes down, like, yeah, it's haunted by a series of ghosts. Turns out it's all the ghosts of the Elizabeth's victims. And it's like a lot of them. She killed a lot of people. And there's these two harpy-like old ladies who is supposed to be like I guess Elizabeth's emissaries, but also by trickle-down effect, you know, they also worship Hecate, who's supposed to be queen of the witches, which is the one who gave Elizabeth her immortal life. The Harpy ladies are trying to resurrect from the ashes the vampire queen. So the curator, he died, you know, thanks to those Harpy ladies. His blood is poured into this tub to prepare for Elizabeth so she can bathe in and rejuvenate her body. Each one gets separated. Hellboy tangles with this giant snake and then meets Hecate in this underground cavern, who tries to get Hellboy to go on her side because she doesn't understand why a person from their side of things is working for these humans. And Hellboy is just like not trying to hear it. He keep bluntly telling her to go F off. And he beats her up, at least temporarily, while Abe is dealing with the because after, you know, because they come to realize there's this groundskeeper. It turns out to be this old groundskeeper who turns out to be the former priest who lost his faith. Turns out to be, he tells them what's going on in order to, because thanks to Professor, who knows that he ran off, and he's trying to let him know, like, this is your chance for redemption. Tell us what we need to know. Tells them what they need to know. But the Harpy ladies, because I guess he didn't run too far back in the day, and they end up catching him, and he became like their, like, trained werewolf. He turns into a werewolf and he fights Hellboy, and he ends up dying by Hellboy's hands. But it's a sad ending to a character that didn't have harbor any ill will. It is, in a supernatural films like these, is always a good idea to have something like this, where it's like, somebody who dies, who at the hands of the hero who is a monster, but is not a monster on their own volition or free will. Anyway, Liz and the professor tries to stop the ritual, but they end up getting stalled by these demonic wolves. Hecate, and cool, use of jump scares, because jump scares can be very corny. But once she's shriveled up, half of a skeleton, but still revived, and as she's like getting up, Liz turns to the old professor saying, like, you better get out of here, I'll handle this. As soon as she turned around, this creature's right in her face now. It's like, knowing the speed of these vampires, and she ends up getting knocked out, and she takes the professor back to the mansion, where she bathes into this tub of blood, rejuvenates herself. Cool use of animation, where it's like, it's very clean, where it's like, going from withered to young and vivacious. But then she starts to sizzle, realizing the professor added holy water to her blood at some point, upon discovery of this type of blood. He added holy water into the mix, because as soon as she would have dipped in it, because he knew she would have to immediately, now he weakens her to the point where he gets a broken wooden leg of a chair and stakes her in the heart. Awesome, because he's not useless at all in this. He took a very active role, takes out this vampire queen once and for all that he never got the chance to successfully back in the day. And it's a nice little warm moment because all the ghosts of her former victims appear before him, including the priest, all smile at him as they finally was able to disappear and rest in peace. It was a nice warm moment where justice has finally been served after all these years. Then Hecate possesses this Iron Maiden designed after her, and then morphs it to giving her true appearance. And you see Abe, Leech, Liz, and Hellboy all tangling with this thing. And cool moment with Leech where he gets Hellboy's gun, and with it's useless, but it was a good aim though when he shoots at the head of Hecate. And Hellboy gives us he gives this guy his props, good shot, kid. And then Hellboy, upon realizing Hecate is weak against sunlight, knocks her outside the house when the sun is rising, and Hecate, reverts, back to a snake form and goes back into the darkness dimension where she came from. But Hellboy, it's very hard to really put a beating on him, but the movie ends with him laying back at the BPRD, bedridden as he's recovering, and with his father, reading a book right next to him. And it's nice, they share a nice little moment. He's smiling. It's his dad is looking after him. And the movie ends. So yeah, it's a dope movie. I love this animated movie. Really good. Voice acting on point. Animation on point. Everybody giving it all. There's no useless characters at all. Everybody was used to their proper effect for the story, what the story calls them for. Sure, there are moments where it's certain things need to be said, the professor should have been told them about what's going on ahead of time so they could be properly prepared. The priest, you can make the argument for his skepticism, but it's just man, I can't fault him. It's human. For all intents and purposes, none of this should have been real to him, and it's real, it's very real, and a lot of people would run in his shoes. But it's just man, it's as a priest, you should be has a little more faith behind the Lord in order to be back these creatures, or keep them at bay for the others to do their job. But I can't really fault them too much on this. It's something I have to bring up that did nag at me a bit. But yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit, because it's fairly quick. It's a fairly short animated film. It's very quick to the point, 75 minutes long. But I will see you guys in a few minutes as I cover Sword of Storms. But let me know in the comments below what you think of Hellboy Blood of Iron. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, share this with your friends, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. And please let me know if there's any errors in this film that you wanted to point out to me that I might not noticed or overlooked. But yeah, so far short, sweet, to the point. Everybody's used to full effectiveness, so at a certain point it's very nitpicky for me. But let me know what stuff that you might have a problem with, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Peace.